Alright, welcome back to another video. It's been like 2 weeks since I last uploaded something, and that wasn't intentional this time. I've just been busy, really, with school and holidays and stuff. I have another Minecraft video prepared, but I just haven't been able to put the time into editing it yet. But I will hopefully get that out by Monday or sometime around there. So anyways, oh, my god pot just ran out. But yeah, I'm on Skyblock right now, and they released their Enchanting overhaul update a while ago, so this is actually pretty important for every player. Even if you aren't a high enchanting level, this is something you really want to pay attention to. And in this video, I'll go over all the information about the new update. So first and foremost, they changed the Enchanting Table, so now it's actually useful. So if I just get this Unenchanted Adaptive Blade, and put it in here, you'll see it looks a lot different than before. So the way the enchantment table works now is you can choose what specific enchants you want. So I'm not going to actually enchant it, but if I go to sharpness, you can choose different levels of sharpness, and when you click whichever one you want to apply, it costs the specified XP levels. So in the end, it's going to be a lot more expensive than enchanting with the enchantment table before, but at least now you can choose what specific enchants you want. And something else important you should know is, you can not only add enchants onto already enchanted items, but you can also remove enchants now. So if you see I have telekinesis on my Shadow Fury, if I go to telekinesis here, I can remove the enchant for 5 XP levels. And you can do this for any enchant really, though it'll take more XP levels to remove certain enchants. Now as for enchantment books, those would be kinda useless now, because not only do they require a lot of XP levels to add, but you also have to go through the trouble of crafting them. However, since admins knew this, they changed how enchantment books work. So first of all, they completely removed anvil uses, so now you don't have to worry about what the best way to combine books is, and instead they now have apply costs. So now, when you combine 2 enchant books, it's completely free, and if you look at the apply cost for the combined book, that's how much XP levels it'll cost to add to your item. In order to balance out enchantment tables and books, enchantment books take 25% less XP to add to your item. There's also a new command called /EG, which is for Enchantment Guides, and if you look here, some enchants now require a certain enchantment level to use them. For example, Growth now needs Enchanting level 5, Critical now needs Enchantment level 9, True Protection requires Enchantment level 15, and so on and so on. If you want to see all of them for yourself, you can just do /EG in-game, and you'll come to this menu. This is probably going to change a lot of things for players that aren't high enchanting level already, because now they have to start grinding enchanting levels. But Hypixel added a sort of grace period, where people can still use any enchant they want for a period after the update. So if you still want to be able to use your enchants, you better start grinding XP now during Derpy, with 50% more skill XP. Now while this might be a bad thing, if you see this over here, this is something called an Experimentation Table. You unlock it at enchantment level 10, and it simply takes 8 oak logs and 1 XP bottle to craft. Now if you go inside, you'll see these experiments that you can do, and upon doing these experiments, you get a lot of enchanting XP. If you see here, they do have a cooldown, which kind of slows you down, but according to the admins, you can get upward of 1 million enchanting XP per day just from these experiments. So I already did them, but I can practice this one and show you how exactly they work. So they're kind of like mini-games where you play the game, and then you get enchanting XP depending on how well you do. So this first one is basically Melody's Harp 2.0. You're supposed to follow the colors, but either I'm doing it wrong or it's bugged, because, yeah. Okay, I've been doing it wrong this entire time. So it is just like Simon says. Okay, well, I got 0 enchanting XP the first time I did it, because I had no idea what I was supposed to do. Alright, so I could keep going for a long time, but after this one I'll just end it so I can get to the rest of the update. Alright, that's good enough for now. I would have made 16.5 thousand enchanting XP, and 2 super pairs clicks. And I can't do super pairs right now because it's on cooldown, but basically what it is just matching 2 items. And also with this update, Hypixel added some new enchants. So if I just type /EG and go to the very end, or not the very end, but almost the very end, they have Respite, which increases your natural regen by 25% while out of combat. Prosecute, which increases damage dealt by 0.6%. For each percent of health your target has, up to 35% damage. Titan Killer, which increases damage dealt by 14%. For every 100 defense your target has, up to 50%. Thunderbolt, which strikes monsters within 2 blocks with lightning every 3 consecutive hits, dealing 90% of your strength as damage. Triple Strike, which increases melee damage dealt by 50% for the first 3 hits on a mob. Chance, which increases the chance of a monster dropping an item by 75%. And Siphon, which heals you for 0.6% of damage you deal on critical hits. So you've probably noticed it on other enchants, but if you look below requirements, it shows conflicts. And basically that means you can't use this enchant with that enchant. Kind of like how you can't have Smite Sharpness and Bane of Arthropods all on the same sword. Hypixel also buffed several bad enchants. So if you look at Thunderlord, it now deals 150% of your strength as damage, as opposed to the 50% before. And if you look at Fire Aspect, it now deals 100% of your weapon damage per second, as opposed to barely doing anything before. So now these are actually kind of useful to have on your sword. For some reason they didn't change Flame, so it's still basically just pre-buff Fire Aspect on bows, but hopefully they remember this and end up buffing it. And now, something else I want to talk about is the new enchant meta. So now with things like Thunderbolt that can't be applied with Thunderlord, I do think this is going to end up changing the meta for what enchants you put on what sword. Like for example, my Shadow Fury, since I use this mostly as a single hit weapon, I'm going to be using Thunderlord as opposed to Thunderbolt, since Thunderlord does more damage to single target, and Thunderbolt does more AoE damage. I would also keep using Lifesteal instead of Siphon, since this is a dungeon weapon and I'm going to be using it in dungeons, and since I'm a tank, I don't have 100% crit chance in dungeons. So because Siphon only heals you on crit damage, and I won't be doing crits every hit, Lifesteal might still be the better choice. But if you look at my Reaper Falchion, since I normally have 100% crit chance out of dungeons due to pots, I could have Siphon on this instead of Lifesteal, and I don't really use my Reaper Falchion in dungeons too much. I mainly use it on revs, and since I'll be doing crits every single hit, Siphon will be healing for more since it heals for 0.4% of your crit damage, as opposed to Lifesteal that heals for 0.3%. And like my Shadow Fury, I have Thunderlord on my Reaper Falchion instead of Thunderbolt, because I'm mostly going to be focusing on single target damage instead of AoE. And then if you look at my Flower of Truth, I have Thunderbolt on this one because it's normally used for clearing instead of single hit. So whenever I do 3 consecutive hits on a mob, it'll be doing more AoE damage, which will help with clearing. So really a lot of enchants now are going to be debatable depending on what you use them for. So really I do think this update is actually pretty good, despite a lot of people complaining about enchantment level requirements for enchants. Because really all the new enchants they added are just really good. Like, I could see these actually shifting what the previous meta was before, and now people actually have to put some thought into the enchants they're putting on their items. And speaking of that, they actually buffed some other enchants too. Fire Protection now gives plus 60 defense per level, and plus 2 true defense against fire and lava, which means you could put it on Mastiff and now use that for fire trials. Blast Protection now gives 20 defense per level, and Projectile Protection now gives 7 defense per level. And they also nerfed Rend to only work with 5 arrows at a time, though I didn't have Rend, so it's not like that really matters to me. You can also use /E table to access the enchantment table from anywhere, and /Anvil to access an anvil from anywhere. So really this is just an overall good update for me in my opinion. It gives enchanting like a lot of use now, a lot of new good enchants that help shift up the meta, a lot of quality of life stuff like this enchantment table, and being able to just select whatever enchants you want. And yeah, just everything with this update, really. If you want to check out the thread that the admin posted, I'll link that in the description. Things will also be changing in the near future, as people suggest changes for the update, so maybe even by the time I upload this video, things will have changed already. But I'm sure most of the stuff will still stay relevant. But yeah, I'll upload my Minecraft video sometime soon, and thanks for watching.